very less participants today, only 40 participants. We generally have 70 odd participants, right? We have very low number of participants today. Any specific reason? Maybe rain, so they are enjoying in rain or what? Pradeep Dayalji, they are enjoying in rain. Maybe logging through Zoom. Yeah, so it's Zoom only. We are with pakoras. Okay, great stuff. Okay, anyways. Okay, so let's, so meanwhile, other participants, they will join in. What we can do here is we can quickly see, uh, we can quickly revise what we have learned yesterday. Now, first of all, I hope everyone has gone through the recording. Yes, everyone has gone through the recording of yesterday's session. Very, very important, friends. Senthilji not gone through. Okay, friends, if you have not gone through, because yesterday the topic was little complicated, right? So I expect everyone to go through the recording at least once or maybe twice. If you have, if you are still confused, then you may probably watch the recording twice. Now, what we will do is we will just quickly revise the caveats. Just no problem, Sadananji. So you can do it today or maybe tomorrow morning. You can do it. Yes, so you will receive it in the afternoon or maybe tomorrow only, because the session ends at 9 o'clock. Okay, and the backend team, I don't think they will be available till 9 o'clock. Okay, so that's the reason you, any which ways, you will be receiving the recording next day morning or maybe next day afternoon only. Okay. Secondly, let's quickly revise. Meanwhile, other participants will join in. We'll quickly revise what we have learned yesterday, and then we will now again today. It's a very very important topic, and today we will be covering the exits. Okay, the stop losses, the exits we will be covering today. Uh, okay, Roshanji has asked one question here. Can we use Bollinger Bands for HIT trades because the price behaves similarly as you have shown yesterday on the quarterly and the monthly chart? Yes, you can use it, but use it on the higher time frames, Roshanji. Don't use it on 5 minutes or 15 minutes. Okay, it will not help you out there. Yeah, maybe you can use it on 75 minutes, but it's preferable to use it daily and above. Yes, that's caveat here. Now let's quickly revisit it. Revisit caveats. Let's quickly revise this. An investor should buy fundamentally good stocks, but buying them expensive is not smart. Okay, now many of you have asked me to check Reliance, it's almost trading at all-time highs. It's not smart to enter Reliance at this point. Maybe we could have entered previously, okay, on the monthly demand zone or maybe on the quarterly demand zone. We could have entered it there when the prices have corrected near to the 30th in the March month. Okay, in the March month, the entire stock market crashed and the prices, every other stock has made a low, isn't it? So there you could have bought it, you could have bought Reliance, but now when it has already doubled or tripled from that level, it's not a smart idea to buy it. So we use Bollinger Bands to understand the price action better and get an idea if a stock is very expensive or not. So first of all, let's understand what are Bollinger Bands. So Bollinger Bands are statistical study developed by Mr. John Bollinger. Bands plotted to standard deviation away from simple moving average. So now here I have told you, if you remember, this is the upper Bollinger Band and this is the lower Bollinger Band here. These two are two standard deviation away from the mean. Yes, this is minus 2 standard deviation and this is plus 2 standard deviation, and this is your mean here. This is also 20 simple moving average. Okay, this is also 20 simple moving average mean line or the 20 simple moving average line. So this is here in Bollinger Bands, we actually see the bell curve. Okay, many of you might be knowing about the bell curve here. Yes, and 2 standard deviation means 95% of the data points. Okay, so bands plotted to standard deviation away from simple moving average. The price of the stock is bracketed by upper and lower band along with simple moving average. Now, based on bell curve indicates that price comes back to the mean from 2 standard deviation. Investors should monitor it on the quarterly charts. Now here, the Bollinger Bands, now I have told you that the trend will be checked only on the monthly chart. Similarly, I have told you the Bollinger Bands will be checked only on the quarterly charts. Okay, so we will only be checking the Bollinger Bands on the quarterly charts, and as per the quarterly charts or as per the caveat strategy, we will decide whether to exit or whether to hold on with our entries here or not. That we'll gonna decide using the uh, Bollinger Bands. Now, caveat number one. What is caveat number one? Caveat number one states that we have to remain cautious while taking entry. Okay, we have to remain cautious while taking entry if a red candle closes below the upper Bollinger Band on the quarterly chart. Yes, so what you need to identify, you need to first see a red candle which is closer to the upper Bollinger Band, and it is closing below the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, a red candle closes below the upper Bollinger Band on the quarterly charts within 2 candles from previous bullish candle closing above the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, so here if you see, this green candle has closed above the upper Bollinger Band. Now within 2 candles, 1 and 2, within 2 candles a red candle should close below the upper Bollinger Band. Now here even the first candle has closed below the upper Bollinger Band, so we have triggered caveat number 1 here. Similarly, if you see here, this is a green candle closing above the upper Bollinger Band. For that matter, what we can do here is we can, if you consider this candle here, this green candle, this has also closed above the upper Bollinger Band, isn't it? This has also closed above the upper Bollinger Band. Now within 2 candles, a red candle should close below the upper Bollinger Band. Now this is candle number 1 and this is candle number 2. Now here the second candle has closed below the upper Bollinger Band, isn't it? Even if we consider consider it like this. Okay, so here what we can do is we can consider this like this, a candle like this. Okay, so this will be the second candle here, but here this is the first candle. Okay, so it's just an example that I am taking here, that even if the second candle, so within 2 candles, 1 2, within 2 candles a red candle should close below the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, so this is also a bullish candle only. This is also a bullish candle only, so it has closed above the upper Bollinger Band within 2 candles. So this is the first one only which has closed below the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, so within 2 candles from previous bullish candle closing above the upper Bollinger Band. Now caveat number 2, what is caveat number 2? Caveat number 2 is we have to see the exhaustion candle on the quarterly chart. Okay, we have to see exhaustion candle on the quarterly chart. Now what is an exhaustion candle? Exhaustion candle is the difference of 15% or more between upper Bollinger Band and the closing of the bullish candle. So whenever you place your cursor, if you have activated Bollinger Band, whenever you have placed your cursor on the candle, you will find the value of the upper Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band, and you will also find where did the candle close. So that's how you can calculate whether the candle is closing 15% or more above the upper Bollinger Band or not. Okay, now here we can also just activate the exhaustion candle indicator, and whichever candle is an exhaustion candle on the quarterly chart will turn into pink color. Okay, so a green candle closing above the upper Bollinger Band on the quarterly charts is an exhaustion candle. Now, once we have identified an exhaustion candle, we will switch to the monthly chart. We will switch to the monthly chart, and on the monthly chart, what we are doing actually, we are actually identifying caveat number 1, isn't it? We are actually identifying caveat number 1 on the monthly charts. What we are doing, we are actually identifying caveat number 1 here. Now, so a red candle is closing below the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly chart. Same thing, we are checking it on the monthly chart here. So a red candle is closing below upper Bollinger Band on the monthly chart within 2 candles from previous bullish candle closing above the upper Bollinger Band. So this candle has closed above the upper Bollinger Band. Now within 2 candles, 1, 2. The first candle has closed, the first red candle has closed below the upper Bollinger Band. So my caveat number 2 has triggered. Okay, and then the caveat is number 3 is relatively very easier. So an investor should avoid taking entry when a higher time frame supply zone is nearby the demand zone. So the demand zone that you are considering, if a higher time frame supply is very closer to your monthly demand zone or your weekly demand zone in which you are considering to buy, and there's a higher time frame, maybe quarterly supply or maybe half yearly supply is there, so the chances will be higher that the prices might turn around from the quarterly or the half yearly supply and might try and whipsaw your monthly or the weekly demand. So in such case, in such situations, we should avoid taking an entry there. So how does one take an entry in case of caveat 1 and caveat 2? Now, there are 3 ways to take the entry in case of caveat that has got triggered, in case the caveat 1, caveat 2 has got triggered. So the first type is the price correction. Now, when there is a price correction, the prices have corrected down, prices have come down, buy on the excellent quarterly zone. Now, quarterly zone should be having this following criterias. Criteria number 1, it should be fresh. Now, if you remember, when we have learned the when we have learned the entry types, or when we have learned the entry strategy, on the quarterly and higher time frames, we can take even 2 tests, right? Even after 2 tests, we can take the entry. But when the caveat is triggered, now there is a difference here, if you can remember. Okay, so here, if you see, let's go at the starting here. So for quarterly and higher demand zones, entry will be taken even if the zone is tested twice, isn't it? Even if the zone is tested twice for quarterly or half yearly demand zone or higher time frame demand zone. Now, here when the caveat is triggered, now this is the condition when the caveat is not triggered. This is the normal entry rule. But when the caveat has got triggered, we will not be considering the normal entry rule till and until we find a specific situation. Now, the caveat is triggered and the prices are coming down. So we will be buying only on a fresh zone, fresh quarterly zone here, having a good leg out, and it should be near to 20 moving average here, near to the mean line. We can also buy on half yearly demand zone if it is tested once. Okay, so that's some of the examples here. Now the second is your time correction. So time correction is price stays sideways for 2 quarters. Once after the caveat is triggered, prices are not ready to come down. Okay, generally what happens, if you have seen, generally what happens, as soon as the caveat is triggered, the price comes down crashing, isn't it? But if the prices are not coming down, if the prices are staying there, which means the buyers are still strong, the fundamentals of that stock, it's quite good, and the buyers are not allowing the stock to come down, isn't it? And because of that, the prices are going sideways. Now after the caveat is getting triggered, ideally the prices should crash, but if the prices are not crashing, they are going sideways, then we can follow the normal entry rules, which means the fundamentals of that stock is quite good and the buyers are not allowing the prices to come down. Third one is whipsaw. Now whipsaw means after the close of red candle, as and when the caveat got triggered, the red candle got closed. If the high of the red candle is broken within the next 2 candles, which means again the fundamentals of the company, it's quite good. Even after the caveat got triggered, the prices started moving upwards, and within next two candles, the prices have taken out the high of the red candle. We will follow the normal entry rules. Okay, so in such situations, we will be following the normal entry rules, so we can take the entry normally. So this is some of the examples for time correction and whipsaw. Okay, let's open the room for questions and answers. Let's see, we have some of the questions here. Pradeep ji, the Bollinger Bands on WIT MIT will apply the same rules as we discussed. Pradeep ji, the concept of Bollinger Band is different. We have used Bollinger Bands to benefit our strategy. Okay, now Bollinger Bands, you can use it normally, but the caveats, if you're talking about, the caveats will not be seen on the weekly or the monthly chart. The caveats will be seen only on the quarterly chart. So if you want to use Bollinger Bands, you can use it on weekly charts, you can use it on daily charts, not a problem. But with the actual way it is analyzed, not with the caveats. Today it's reacted exactly at the daily demand zone and closed exactly daily supply zone. Okay, we also have an option to use exponential moving average. Okay, Sanjay ji, exponential moving average, you can use it slightly, it gives you slightly quicker result as compared to the simple moving average, but we are just using the Bollinger Bands as it is being used, okay, or as it is being formulated, and this Bollinger Band is being formulated after a lot of backtesting, okay. So, and that's the reason we will be using the 20 simple moving average only, okay. Basant ji, okay, so Ankita has already answered your question here. Okay, if we are already in the stock and when we see a caveat, should we sell and re-enter using the re-entry rules? Yes, Pradeep, you can do that. So take an entry. Does it require that both caveats have to be satisfied? Not necessary, Sunita ji. Whichever caveat is triggered, okay, whichever caveat, it's not necessary that both the caveats will get triggered. Majority of the times you will find caveat number one getting triggered. Okay, caveat number two, it's relatively little rare. When we are considered the caveats, ideally we need to take entry in either quarterly or absolutely yes. In case of price correction, Venkatesh, in case of time correction and in case of whipsaw, you can follow the normal entry rules. I checked BB on caveats on HUL, however, proves is still going up from many quarters. Can we check it? Okay, we'll see HUL, no problems. So it may happen, Sahilji, it may happen even after, caveat is getting triggered, the prices might whipsaw the high of that red candle, isn't it? So that's the whipsaw concept that we can use. Has triggered caveat number one here, and after that, after triggering caveat number one, the prices have actually, this is whipsaw. The prices have taken out the high of this candle here, isn't it? The prices have taken the high of this candle here. So this is whipsaw. The prices have whipsawed the level. Okay, and then if you can see here, the prices have come up beautifully from this level here. Okay, you can see half yearly or you can see quarterly, both the levels pretty much are the same. Okay. Sanjay ji, okay, you have missed it. So I have told you that on the lower time frames, if you want to use the Bollinger Band concept, it should not be used. It should not be used with the caveats. Okay, because caveats you cannot see it on the weekly charts or on the daily charts. Then you can normally use the the Bollinger Band concept, only the Bollinger Band concepts. And basically you should be applying Bollinger Bands on higher time frames, maybe daily, weekly. Okay. When green candle breaking caveat, it is an indication for sell. Where have you seen that? Green candle breaking caveat. Okay, on this PPT you're talking about. No, this is not an indication of sell, Koteshwarji. This is not an indication of sell. This is an indication that the buyers are still strong here. Even though the caveat has triggered, the prices have not shown any weakness here. Okay, and the prices have continued to move upwards. Yes, there is an option to select simple or exponential. We continue to use simple, Sanjay ji. We see caveat on quarterly chart, so we have to wait for 3 months or 1 quarter to see the next candle. Absolutely yes, Arjun ji. The value of Bollinger Bands will be will Ashuji, the Bollinger Bands will remain same. There will be no changes with the Bollinger Band. It's just that when you're changing the time frame, the candles also change, isn't it? The candles also change, and then it will not be the same value as on the quarterly chart. So on the quarterly chart, it's a combination of 3 months. Whereas when you see it on the monthly chart, you will be seeing Bollinger Bands of 3 different monthly charts, isn't it? So it will be slightly different. It will not be the same. That will remain same. The concept will remain same. There will be no changes with the concept +2 -2. That will remain the same. The value, you talked about the value, so the value will slightly change because the candles will change. By then we would have missed the opportunity, Arjunji. It would have happened that if you don't respect the caveat and you just enter and the prices crash down. Okay, so it's better to miss it rather than wiping out your entire capital. Now you have to choose what you need to do. You want to wipe out your entire capital or you want to miss it, because you might miss this for some time. Okay, you might miss this for some time, and the prices might again come down, because it's no way that the prices will go upside one-sidedly up. Okay, it will come down. The prices has the tendency to move like this. It will not go up one-sidedly. So it will correct sometime or the other, and then probably you can just wait and watch. Okay, any more questions here? Yes, I have to check HUL. Okay, so it's an example for Whipsaw. Sonuji, sorry, Sahilji. Yes, Sahilji have asked me this question, right? So here the caveat got triggered here. Just very recently the caveat got triggered, isn't it? Now here, if you see, the caveat got triggered previously as well. Now this is very recent that the caveat has triggered, isn't it? Now we have to wait at least for 2 quarters for the prices. Either they will remain sideways or they might try and whipsaw the high. Okay, if this happens, then probably we can buy on a quality, high quality quarterly demand zone or a half yearly demand zone. We can buy it. Now see here, the caveat got triggered here as well, isn't it? But what happened? Within 2 candles? If you see here, this is the classic case of whipsaw. Within 2 candles, the prices have actually taken out the high of this red candle, isn't it? Yes. Now again the caveat has got triggered. Now we have to wait for some time for the prices. Either they will stay, either it will be a price correction, or the prices will remain sideways for the 2 quarter, or they might try and whipsaw the high of this red candle. Then probably accordingly we can take the advantage here. Now if you see here, so Arjunji, see here, even though this stock is moving up, see here, this was a zone that the prices have formed here on the quarterly chart, this rally, base, and then a rally. And the prices have actually made a low of 1757, and from there, it again started to move upwards. So generally the prices will come down. Second candle green is an alarm about whipsaw. Manishji, you will not be able to say this till and until it actually the prices actually whipsaw the high of the red candle. Okay, so in the hindsight, you cannot say that till and until it happens. So it's better to wait for 2 quarters, and then probably you can see some investment opportunities in HUL. Are we good? Any more questions here as far as yesterday's topic is concerned? Any more questions? We have 64 participants in the room. Will this caveat one triggered the Nifty chart and the Bank Nifty chart? Yes, you can see Nifty as well as Bank Nifty as well. Now, if you see here, actually close by, I can't see any caveat getting triggered in Nifty. Okay. Very back in the year 2015, the prices have actually triggered the caveat here, if you see. Yes. And after that, if you see, the prices have come. So from here, from triggering the caveat, it was a close at 8368, and from there the prices have come down to, it has made a low of 6825. Okay, so from 8368, it has come down to 6825. Okay, so it has come down very close to the 20 simple moving average here. And now see, the prices have actually reacted again. So it has come very close to this level. The prices have come closer to this quarterly demand, and from there the prices have again started moving upwards. Now here I can't see a caveat getting triggered in Nifty. Let's see Bank Nifty. 11th candle red from right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has not closed above the upper Bollinger Band. So the upper Bollinger Band value, it's 10,547, and the closing is 10,530. So this has not closed above the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, Koteshwara ji, this has not closed above the upper Bollinger Band. So this caveat is not yet, it's not triggered here. Not even this one. What is the close of this candle? The close of this candle, let me see, is 10,623 and upper Bollinger. Yes, so here you can see that the caveat is triggered. Here you can see the caveat has triggered here, because the closing of this candle is 11,623 and the upper Bollinger Band is 11,603. Yes, so here the caveat is triggered. Absolutely, here the caveat has triggered. So this is within 2 candles. So if we see within 2 candles here, candle number 1 and candle number 2, so this candle has triggered the caveat here. But the prices have eventually came down, if you see. Similarly, if we see Bank Nifty, Yes, Bank Nifty has also triggered the caveat here, if you see. Even this candle as well, what is the close? 31,105. Yes. So even on this candle, the caveat has triggered on these two candles. And then after that, the prices have crashed down. Ashu Babaji, within two candles, yes. So candle number one can be of any color. Yes, the pattern, Venkateshji, are pretty much the same. Sunita ji, now here the situation was slightly different. Okay, the situation that is going on, we have not seen such situations, right? So this is a this is a pandemic that has happened, right? And this is a very newer situation for the markets. So with respect to this situation, I would have held on to my investment, okay, till and until the prices have completely come down, and from that bottom, the till and until the prices show some sign of recovery, I wouldn't have bought anything, or I wouldn't have invested anything here, because this situation is slightly different. If you try and understand, this situation is slightly different. Okay, it's not normal. Okay, it's not normal out here. The candle at around 15,000, this candle you are talking about. So you can just activate exhaustion candle indicator and you can find it's out. No, this is not an exhaustion candle. uh, but in a normal condition, is this, if this is the chart in front of you, what? Okay, Sunita ji, then probably I would have trusted more on the higher time frames, maybe quarterlies or half yearlies. Okay, and then probably on some half yearly or the quarterly demand zone, I may have made the entry. Okay, so if you can see this, the prices have not broken, even with this much amount of crash, the prices have not taken out the yearly demand, or see here, this is also a quarterly, half yearly demand as well, this rally based rally. Now if you see, this is coinciding with my 20 simple moving average here. Yes, now here we can't see the Bollinger Bands. On half yearly, we can see the Bollinger Bands. And now this level, so this would have been a better level to enter, because this is little conservative. First, secondly, it's coinciding with the 20 simple moving average. Okay, so that's how I would have taken the entry. Why is the candle not exhaustion candle? This uh, we can calculate here whether this is 15% or not. We can see that. I don't know whether this is 15% or not. We have to calculate it. Okay. So upper Bollinger Band is 16,511. 16,511 multiplied by 15 divided by 100. So 2476. Okay, 2476 plus 16,511. So it should be 18,987. So it's 18,736. So that's fine. It should be, the closing should be 18,987 to consider this as a exhaustion candle. It definitely looks like. So that's the reason, Manishji. Yesterday, some participant was telling me that just by seeing it from the naked eye, we can understand or we can identify a exhaustion candle, but it's not that easy, right? This candle, it definitely looks like an exhaustion candle, but it is not. A very minute difference here. Yes, any more questions here? Any more questions here, friends? Is there a significance of mean line in the Bollinger Band? Will the prices react? Absolutely yes, Pradeepji. Absolutely yes. So generally you will find the prices, they, now it's not like that the prices can't go below 20 simple moving average. Okay, Pradeepji, kindly understand, it's not necessary that the prices will go below, will not go below 20 simple moving average. It will hit the 20 simple moving average and it will bounce back. That's not necessary, but majority of the times you will find prices hitting 20 simple moving average and giving a slight bounce. Okay, now okay, so now can we just move on to today's topic? Yes, let's move on to today's topic now. Yes, now today we will be going ahead with the exits. Okay, let's try and understand the exits now. This is again very, very important, friends. Please make sure that you are focused and you are completely concentrated here. So now no more questions. Let's understand the exits here. I will give you time to understand this. I will give you time to ask me questions. Okay, so just hang on with your questions. So today we will be learning the ATR, the average true range. Now this is slightly different from Ignite. Okay, in Ignite you have learned DATR, daily average true range. Okay, here we will be using the average true range, not the daily average true range. So it's slightly different, and the usage is also slightly different. We'll see the difference here. And then we will see the exit strategies. Now we have three exit strategies: initial stop loss, exit on fundamental sell, and Bollinger Band method. Okay, now these are the three methods that we use to exit our trade or investment. Now, stop loss is an order to exit a position for a predefined loss, also known as protective stop loss. Is a critical part of any investment. So it's very, very critical. It measures the risk of the investment and it permits small losses instead of incurring large loss or instead of wiping out your entire capital. So is getting stopped out okay? Yes, it's definitely okay. Why? Because there should be always a threshold, a minimum threshold, whether it is trading or whether it is investment. Okay, there should be a minimum threshold below which you should always exit your position in order to save on your capital. Okay, in order to save your capital. Now, if you have capital with you, you can try and recover your losses. But if you have wiped out your entire capital, you will go empty handed. Okay, so we have already seen this example. It's the cost of doing the business. So if we are taking this as our business, this stop loss, it's nothing but the cost of doing the business. And in stock investor program, basically, we in investment generally, if you have heard, the stop losses never get triggered. They generally, I'm talking about majority of the times, you will not find stop losses getting triggered. Okay, so again, in the investment strategy, the stock investor, it's a investment strategy. So our stop losses will be quite huge, and we will make sure that our stop losses should not trigger. Okay, but it's not the point that we will be entering into any stock and we will not put the stop loss. If we will not put the stop loss, the stop loss will never trigger. Okay, That is something which I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not saying this that you can enter any stock, and if you don't put a stop loss, this means that the stop loss will never trigger. We will have a stop loss. Okay, we will have a stop loss, but generally the stop losses are so big that they in general they don't trigger. But sometimes at times the stop losses will also trigger. Okay, so at times they will trigger, but majority of the times they will not trigger. Now, exit is the act of closing a position in a market sometime after entry. So, the proper exit is pre-planned, disciplined, but often overlooked. So, what we do, we generally overlook the exits. We generally overlook our exits. We don't try to place our targets, or we avoid placing our stop losses. So, we will not do that in demand and supply theory. The basic is entry, stop loss, and target, SET. We always follow SET. An exit can be for a profit or for a loss. Yes. Now, first of all, let's try and understand ATR, average true range. So how do we do that? Wiggle room for stop loss. So it's just a wiggle room for the stop loss. We know we place the stop loss slightly below the distal line, but the question is how far is slightly. So how far below the distal line we will be placing our stop loss, and that is the question. Now, here is a mechanical way to decide about how far beyond we need to go. Now, locate the ATR value for the stock, add the following wiggle room. Now, if execution time frame, see here, the stop loss will be slightly different as per the execution here. Now, if execution time frame is weekly, 10% of the weekly ATR. If execution time frame is monthly or higher, it will be 10% of the monthly ATR. Okay, let's try and see this. So let's suppose if we are buying here, we have seen this example yesterday, isn't it? We have seen this example yesterday. Now we are buying here on the half yearly chart, this nice rally based rally here. Now, if we are buying on the half yearly chart, which ATR we will be following? Which ATR we will be following? We will be, yes, Titan, we also will be checking Titan here. Don't worry. Yes. So which ATR we will be following? Now, if our execution time frame is weekly, we will be checking the weekly ATR. If the execution time frame is monthly or higher, we will be checking monthly ATR. So now let's do one thing. Let's go to monthly. Let's first add ATR here. So go to study, go to ATR and apply. So I've applied the ATR. Now where I will be placing my stop loss? I will be placing my stop loss when the prices have given us the entry. Now let's suppose at this point the prices have given me the entry. Now at this point, what is my ATR? Tell me, what is my ATR here? At this point, TR is the total range, ATR is the average true range. Now, what is the ATR here? 59.81. So this my stop loss will be 10% of 59.81 rounded off. So 59.81 means let's take it 60, and 10% of 60 will be 6. So my stop loss will be 6 rupees below 354. So let's go to half yearly chart, put our entry here, and my stop loss will be 6 rupees. So 354 minus 6 will be 348. Just double click and simply modify it to 348, save, and your stop loss has come down to 348 here. Okay. Similarly, we have also seen Titan. Yes. Let's see Titan. It has slightly taken out the level, isn't it? It has slightly taken out the level. Now let's see on the monthly chart here. When we have got the entry, so we have actually got the entry on this big candle, isn't it? So what is the ATR of this big candle here? 195.43, isn't it? The ATR of this candle is 195.43. So 10% of 195.43 will be 19.5. Okay, it is 19.5. So you can just round it off. Let's take 20 on a safer note. Let's take 20 here. So half yearly chart, we will be placing our entry here. Okay, and 732 minus 20, 712. So and save. Okay, so you can see my stop loss is yet not triggered, even though the prices have slightly breached the level, but the prices have not hit my stop loss here, isn't it? Okay, sorry. So make it 712, no problem. Then too the stop loss is not hit. The low of this candle is 720. Okay, still the stop loss is not hit. The low of this candle is 720. Okay, have you understood this ATR concept here? Now if we are taking the entry on the weekly chart here, let's see the weekly chart. Okay, let's see in stock here. Ipca Lab, a very beautiful stock. And if we are taking the entry on the weekly chart here, so this is the zone here, this rally based rally here. Okay, this rally based rally, it's a now. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to check the trend. Now the trend of this stock, it's up and up only. So go to study, go to add study, go to average, and here plot 5. So let me just slightly change the color here so that you can understand. So I'm having this color here. Okay, so if you see, this is 5 simple moving average line here. Okay, this is 5 simple moving line here. And what is the trend here on the monthly chart? The trend on the monthly chart is continuously up here. Okay, on the weekly chart, we have, if we have entered at this level 1292, so the prices have almost come 700 800 points from this level. So placed my entry here 1292 and my stop loss. Now this will be where I've got the entry on this candle, on this red candle I've got the entry, isn't it? See this, on this red candle, green candle had missed our entry. On this red candle we have got the entry here. Now this red candle, see the ATR here on the right hand side. Can you see the ATR here, everyone? The ATR here on this candle, on this red candle, because we are getting the entry here. Okay, or maybe you can also see the ATR, because now the system will not allow you to keep a stock. name of the stock is hidden. It is not hidden, it's Ipca Lab. Raminder ji, I repeated the name of the stock, Ipca Lab. Now, generally, if you calculate your ATR, now when to calculate your ATR, this is also very, very crucial. Okay, this is also very, very crucial. Now, on this candle, we can calculate the ATR, but the price or the market will not allow the system will not allow us. The system will not allow us. Yes, the caveat. This is the weekly chart. How the caveat got triggered here? Nilesh ji, this is the weekly chart, not the quarterly chart here. Okay. Now, first of all, let's see the ATR here. What is the ATR here, friends, everyone? What is the ATR here? 110. So if I take 10% of 110, if I take 10% of 110, it will be 11. Okay. 11 means 1163.9 minus 11. So it will be 1152. Let's take it 1152. So double click and make it 1152 here and save. Now, if I try to place a stop loss when the prices have given me the entry here, if I try to place my stop loss 140 points down, 140 points on, system might not allow me to place a stop loss here, isn't it? Give me a quick check, yes or no. Ashuji, just hold on. I'm coming to your question. Just hold on. Yes, system might not allow me to place a stop loss here because this is almost 140 points down from. Absolutely yes, Maniji. So it will not allow me to place a stop loss. The order will get rejected here. So it's better when the prices are deep inside the zone, only then you should be placing your stop loss, because only then the system will allow you to keep a alert, will allow you to keep a order. So now here, what is the so when the prices are inside your zone, deep inside your zone, at that point you should be checking your ATR, and there you should be keeping your stop loss. Okay, so now here the prices have come inside the zone. What is the ATR here? So it will hardly it will hardly be uh, it will it will be very, very small change here. It will not vary too much. Okay, 4-5 rupees here and there, it will not vary by 50-60 odd rupees. Even this is a stock worth rupees 2000. See here, what is the ATR here? 168.9. Okay, 168.9. Let's keep 17 here. Okay, let's keep 17 here. So let's minus more 6 rupees more here. So which will become 146, 1146, isn't it? So it will become 1146 if we calculate our ATR at this level. So it will hardly be a difference of 4 to 5 rupees, that's all. Okay. But we can put a sell order with a trigger price. Yes, you can. You can, but Venkatesh, you will not be able to place even a sell order beyond the circuit limit. Okay, beyond the circuit limit, you will not be able to place the buy order or the sell order. Both the orders you cannot be able to place if it is beyond the circuit limit. Okay. Getting my point? When to calculate the ATR, everyone? Is this clear to everyone? Give me a quick check. Is the concept of ATR is clear to everyone? Give me a quick check. We have almost 60 participants in the room now. Any questions, any confusions here? Any questions, any confusions here? You have to calculate once the candle is closed. Absolutely yes, Mohammadji. You have to calculate once the candle is closed. It will always be 10%, whether it is 10% of weekly ATR or 10% of monthly ATR. Now, ATR is, so the difference between DATR and ATR is DATR is only the average of daily. Okay, it's daily average true range. Whereas average true range ATR is wherever you keep or on whichever chart you check the ATR, it will show you the value of that chart. Okay, that's the difference between DATR and ATR. Okay, so you put 10% of ATR in the system and then you reduce another 10%. No, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just reducing it from the distal line. Sunita ji, I'm just reducing it from the distal line. I'm not putting it, I'm just randomly putting it here. I've just put it here randomly, and then from 1163.9 I have reduced 17 rupees, so it will come to, okay. How are UBB LBB formed unlike 20 simple mean line? Satish ji, it's obviously the formula that calculates that. Okay, that's the mu. Okay, I'm not a maths maths graduate or something like that, but the mean is called the mu here, isn't it? In the bell curve, the mean is calculated first and then accordingly, so it's based on certain formula. Okay, so if you are a maths graduate, you might have seen the entire calculation. So first of all, we don't need to go into the calculations here. It's already in front of us. TR is the total range. Okay, total range of that candle. Total range of that candle. Whereas average true range is the average true range of 14 periods. So there is a difference, Vishalji. I hope your answer is your question is done, Manishji. It's 14 periods. Not like how we said DATR. No, it's different. That's what I told you. This is little different. It is same like Ignite stop loss with 10% WATR. Uh, you can say it like that. Weekly ATR. That's fine. AV5 means what is AV? Average. Why we have taken 5 simple moving average? Leena ji. Okay, we could have taken 50 simple moving average as well. Okay, we could have taken 50 simple moving average as well, but when we are checking the trend on monthly charts, which is higher time frame, if we have 50 moving averages, if we apply 50 simple moving average, majority of the charts you will not find the average. Okay, and that's the reason we have lowered it down to 50 simple moving average. And there is one more reason why we have lowered it down to 50 simple moving average, 5 simple moving averages, because it gives you very quick results. Taking entry, candle touch or stay more than 3 times in the zone. More than 3 times means more than 3 quarters or 3 candles. Yes, that's what your question is, Ashuji. Okay, so this candle you're talking about, this chart you're talking about. Yes, color. So we can hold on to our investment, right? This is the weekly chart, Ashuji. Okay, this is the weekly chart. Now we have got the entry here. See, we have got our entry here. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 5 week. 5 week means 1 month 1 week, and after that, if you see, the prices have started moving up slowly and gradually. Yes, and it is very recent example, I guess. This is just February 20. Okay, this year's only 5 6 months back. So just wait with your conviction, okay? Just wait with your analysis. Don't hurry in booking up your profits here. Is there a possibility of we getting a step-by-step approach in writing covering all the steps? There is a possibility, Venkatesh ji. There is a very good possibility, and that possibility will be there tomorrow. Okay, that possibility will appear tomorrow. Okay, when we will revise the entire concept, we will prepare some notes for for the benefit of every other participant here. Okay, so we will do that tomorrow. Yes, I'll be doing that, but tomorrow, not today. Yes, Leena ji, before I go on to a break, last question from your end. You have raised your hand. Else, I'll just go for a break and then we will cover the exit strategies as well. Yes. Okay. So no questions from her side. Okay. So let's take a quick break here, and after the break, we will start with the exit strategies. I'll be doing that. No problems, Sahil ji. Okay. I'll be doing that. So I will be giving you the entire thing. Don't worry. Welcome back, friends. Am I audible to everyone? Yes? Okay. Yes. So can we start now with the exit strategy? Yes? Okay. So strategy number 1, initial stop loss. Strategy number 2, the fundamental sell, and third strategy is the Bollinger Bands. Now, let's start with the very first one here, initial stop loss. So, initial stop loss means the stop loss while that we have decided while analyzing the stock. Okay, now what is initial stop loss? Once the price falls below the stop level, the position will be closed at the current market price, which prevents any further losses. So stop loss, it's just the normal stop loss. Now here in case of stock investor, yes, because we are using higher time frames, the stop losses will be higher, but they will be the normal stop losses that we use. Okay, so the stop loss that we have calculated while analyzing the trade, the same stop loss we will be using. Which time frame to put the initial stop loss depends upon the overall trend identified on the monthly time frame. So which time frame? If the execution is on weekly, so stop loss will be 10% of the weekly ATR. If the execution is on monthly or higher time frame, 10% of the monthly ATR. Now, why initial stop loss? Protect your capital from adverse price movements in the market. So it helps you protect your capital. A stop loss allows decision making to be free from any emotional influences. Emotional influences means we generally, when we buy a stock, it happens that we tend to marry that stock. Okay, when we buy a stock, we tend to marry a stock, and we generally kind of get very emotionally attached with the stock. We tend to marry the stock, and we generally tend to get very emotional with our investment. And what happens is, even if the stock price has gone below our stop loss, we tend to hold it with a hope that the prices will again come back, isn't it? But when we keep a particular entry, stop loss, and target, we allow ourselves to be away from any emotional influences. Placement of initial stop loss helps in not monitoring the position on continuous basis. So if we have placed our stop loss, we need not to monitor it on continuous basis. And last but not the least, initial stop loss helps us to exit a losing position and thereby gives us an opportunity to look at other possible winning positions. So it's the alternate investments that we look at. Okay, it's the alternate investments that we look at. If we exit from a position which is not good, which is loss making, so we exit taking uh, taking some losses here, and we try and recover those losses by having some other good trades or other profitable trades. It's very simple to the opportunity cost. Okay, now here if you see, in a losing position the opportunity cost will be lower, whereas in a different position the opportunity cost might be higher, because the chances, the probability of that stock going into your favor will might be higher. Okay, so it's just the opportunity cost that you need to compare here. Now identify trend on monthly chart using 5 simple moving average. Now the trend is uptrend. Now these are some of the combinations. Just try and listen to me very carefully here. These are some of the combinations wherein you can place your stop losses. Now stop loss, these are being discussed in Ignite as well on the lower time frames, so same can be applied on the higher time frames as well. Stop loss below weekly or level over level. Second weekly demand zone means level over level, or if the higher time frame demand zone is nearby or coinciding, then stop loss below higher time frame. So these are some of the permutations and combinations that we can use. So we have a weekly demand zone here where we want to enter, and just below this weekly demand zone we have another weekly demand zone. So it's a level over level, so you can place your entry here. This will be your entry, and your stop loss will be below this weekly demand zone. Okay, similarly there is a weekly demand zone which is coinciding a quarterly demand zone. Now this is a quarterly demand zone here. Now entry will be here on the weekly demand zone. This will be your entry, but your stop loss will be below the quarterly demand zone. Getting my point? This weekly demand zone, it's coinciding with a quarterly demand zone. The entry will be on the weekly demand zone, but the stop loss can be kept below the quarterly demand zone. Okay, so now here what we are doing, if you just try and see here, what we are trying to do is we are trying to mitigate the chances of a trade getting stopped out. Okay, now these are some of the examples here. 10%. So if it is below the quarterly chart, if we are placing our stop loss below the quarterly chart, you can use 10% of the monthly ATR, Arjunji. Okay, now ideally it's the entry zone below which we place the stop loss. Okay, it's the entry zone. So the entry, it's on which chart? Entry is on the should be followed, not the monthly, but you can follow the monthly ATR as well, because it will not make much of a difference. Okay, but ideal is weekly, because it's as per the stop loss is as per your entry execution time frame. So if my execution, I'm taking the entry at weekly demand zone, so my stop loss should be 10% of the weekly ATR, and that should go below your quarterly demand zone. Okay, so uptrend in Apollo Tyres, stop loss below weekly demand zone. So I have also shown you an example here of IPCA Lab. Here you can see, yes, the stop loss is below the weekly demand zone. Now if there is a quarterly demand zone, now here the quarterly demand zone, it's quite far. See monthly demand zone, yes, there is a monthly demand zone here. Now I can also keep my stop loss below 10,058. Okay, I can also keep my stop loss below 1058 here. So check the ATR here, and instead of placing it below the weekly zone, I can also place it below the monthly zone, so as to minimize the chances of getting stopped out. Getting my point, everyone here? Is this clear to everyone? Yes? Please give me a quick check. We have 54 participants in the room. Slowly and gradually, I guess everyone is getting bored out. Yes, everyone is getting bored. So we had somewhere around 64 participants in the starting, and now the 10 participants have left. I guess they have got bored, or they have now joined the MIT session. Today is the MIT session as well. So I guess they have logged out and they have joined the MIT session. Now, second thing is, this is again one of the example here, uptrend in Colgate Palmolive, stop loss below second weekly demand zone. So see here, level over level here. First weekly demand zone, and just below that you can find another weekly demand zone. So I'm keeping my stop loss level over level. Similarly, uptrend in LIC. So these are some older examples. So weekly demand zone and stop loss below monthly demand zone. And similarly, a coinciding quarterly demand, this weekly demand zone, it's coinciding with a monthly demand zone here. So entry at the weekly demand zone and stop loss below the monthly demand zone you can take. That's a real example, isn't it? I've shown you a real example. This was a real example, Roshanji. So it won't make a difference here. These are also charts, and on the Trade Tiger, I will be showing you charts on uh, the PowerPoint. I'm showing you the charts. It's one and the same thing. There is nothing much of a change here. It's just that you need to just try and I'll be showing you a few more examples, so don't worry. I have some more examples for you, so don't worry. Yes, but it will remain the same. You just need to understand what are the combinations here. Okay, what are the combinations? So if you understand the combinations, whenever you are placing the stop loss, because it's not possible to give you the example for each and every situation here. Okay, but what you can do here is you can try and see the combinations here and just try to remember those combinations. That's the basic purpose here. Yes, now weekly demand zone coinciding with a quarterly demand zone. Weekly demand zone coinciding with a quarterly demand zone. So entry at weekly and stop loss below the quarterly demand zone. Similarly, trend on 5 simple moving average. And what is your trend? The trend is sideways. So we will start from monthly and higher time frame. So again, the same thing. Stop loss below monthly demand zone, or if a higher time frame demand zone is nearby or coinciding, then stop loss below higher time frame. So in all, what we are doing here, we are just trying to reduce the risk of, or the chances of us getting stopped out here. So this rally based rally, so simply the stop loss below monthly demand zone here, then there is a quarterly demand zone just below the monthly demand zone, then stop loss below the quarterly demand zone. And if it is coinciding, so see here, this is coinciding the monthly demand zone, it's coinciding with the quarterly demand zone, so stop loss below quarterly demand zone. Okay, and then the downtrend, finally it's the quarterly demand zone. If quarterly demand, so stop loss below quarterly demand zone. If the trend is downtrend, we will start with the quarterly. Entry will be at the quarterly, so quarterly demand zone, stop loss below the quarterly demand zone. Or if higher time frame demand zone is nearby or coinciding, then stop loss below half year higher time frame. So some examples here. So this is quarterly demand zone, so just stop loss below the quarterly demand zone. So if you have level over level, you can place your stop loss level over level as well, Pradeep ji. So this will be there, level over level, coinciding, or just uh, below the zone. So these are the three combinations that you can see here. Okay, so now here the quarterly demand zone is here, and just below that we have a yearly demand zone. So you can place your stop loss below the yearly demand zone. And similarly, a coinciding level here. So entry at the quarterly demand zone if you see, and your stop loss will be below the yearly demand zone. So it's coinciding levels here. Yes, let's see some examples here. So let's see one more examples on the weekly chart. So see this. Yes. So what we will be doing is we will be keeping the stop loss below the 10% of the weekly ATR here. So what is the weekly ATR? We have to see, because this has come deep inside the zone. So see the ATR of this candle. What is the ATR of this candle? 31.2. So 10% of the weekly ATR will be 31, isn't it? So let's round it off. You can keep it 31 or you can keep it 32 as well. That will not make a difference here. So I've kept my entry here. My stop loss will be 2250 minus 31. So 2250 minus 31 comes to 2219. Okay. So stop loss at 2219. Yes. So if you see, the stop loss is not hit. The low of this candle is 2222. Okay. 2222 is the low of this uh, zone. The low of this candle. So zone is fresh on the weekly charts. Who said the zone is tested? We are taking the entry here on this candle. No. We are taking the entry here at this candle. Ashuji. Is it tested before that? So we have taken the entry at this candle, and I am keeping, why I am checking this candle, because this candle has come deep inside the zone. Because if you see this candle, the system will not allow you to place the stop loss, because it is almost 150 rupees away from, more than 150 means 200 or 300 rupees away from the current market price. Okay, so the prices, so the system will not allow you to even keep a stop loss here. And that's the reason I'm checking this, because you have to see when the candle has come deep inside the zone. Only then the system will also allow you to keep a stop loss. Yes, this is where we have got the entry, isn't it? This is where we have got the entry. So Venkatesh, how does that matter? How does that matter? How much the prices will come down, or how much the candle will be appearing as a red candle? If I have a conviction on my trade, if I have a conviction, so look, if it comes down inside the zone, only then I'm doing it, right? Okay, only then I am calculating it. It's just that it has already closed. I'm seeing it on the hindsight. I'm seeing it on the hindsight, but if once it is coming inside the zone, maybe uh somewhere here. So if we have got the entry here, we have got the entry here on this, so it was this candle where we have got the entry. What you could have done is you could have taken the ATR of this candle, or maybe of this candle. Okay, I mean to say on the weekly charts, before the prices have actually breached the zone, whenever the prices have come deep inside the zone and you feel that the prices now you can place the stop loss, at that point you can just check the ATR of that candle and simply place the stop loss. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's as simple as that. Is there a confusion here? So as soon as the prices have come inside the zone, you can see the ATR of that candle and you can place your stop loss. Yes, you can. For the meanwhile, what you can do is you can place a you can place an alert, as simple as that. You can place a zone alert for that matter. You can also place a zone alert. So you can just simply place a zone alert, and if the prices enters your zone, then you can then you can just place a stop loss here, calculating the ATR of that candle. So my whole point here is, when the prices have entered your zone, when the prices have come inside your zone, only then you should be calculating the ATR of the candle, and only then you should be placing the stop loss, because only then the system will allow you. Otherwise the system will not allow you to place a trade. Now let's see some more examples here. Yes, so there is one more example here. Yes, Tata Communication. This is also a very, very beautiful example here. Yes, see this candle here. Yes, so my entry somewhere here at this level, you can keep your entry here, and below that you can place a stop loss. Now here you can place the stop loss of the monthly chart. So see this candle, and you can calculate your stop loss here. So this is the ATR is 94.89 of the monthly chart. It's 94.89, so it will be 9.5. Let's assume it 10. Okay, let's assume it 10. So reduce 10 rupees, so it should be somewhere around 127. You can keep your stop loss at 127 here, and never keep an absolute value. So keep it 126 point maybe 9. Keep it 120 instead of keeping it 127. Keep it 126.9, and you can save this. Yes, is this clear to everyone? How long we can keep in a system stop loss? How long we can keep in a system? Time duration. Vijayji, till and until it is triggered. Till and until it is triggered, you can keep your stop losses. Wipro, let's see Wipro here. So first of all, if you see here, Karanji, the caveat got triggered here, isn't it? Very recently. Yes, the caveat got triggered here. The prices have closed this green candle. So after that, if you see, the prices have come down crashing here. Okay. Now here, I can't see a very quality zone here. Okay, let's see this. Somewhere here you can see coinciding with the 20 simple moving average here. Yes, this is where the prices have reacted, and yes, so that's the only quality level that I see here on the half yearly time frame. So this is price correction, no, Pradeep ji? This is price correction. The price have corrected down. The re-entry rules are there, no? The prices have corrected down. So price correction. That is time correction, Pradeep ji. That is not price correction. Prices moving sideways is time correction, not price correction. You have to watch the recording one more time, okay? Pradeep ji, just watch the recording one more time. You still have certain confusion here. Initially, when you're Satish ji, yes, initially when you're placing the trade or when you're analyzing the trade, you actually you will not be able to place your targets as well. Why? Because very basic reason here, once the caveat is triggered, actually then you are planning to exit. Okay, only then you are planning to exit. Keeping stop loss afterwards means just putting sell order or any other procedure like clicking on the entry. No, you can just normally place the stop loss order, Venkatesh, or I don't know whether your question is slightly different or I have understood it correctly. So as far as stop loss is concerned, you can just place a normal stop loss. What about already what about already invested stocks without stop loss? Can I put the stop loss now? Vinod ji, what you can do is now, those stocks which you have already invested, okay, those stocks in which you have already invested, now you can see for caveats, okay, because now you can't do anything about it. You have already invested in those stocks. Now just simply see the caveats there. If the caveats are getting triggered, it's, you can just try and exit at least some portion of your holdings there. And if the prices crash down again or the prices come down again, then probably you can just re-enter. Okay, now let's see the fundamental sell here. Now fundamental sell means Sher Khan stock idea and viewpoint. Now what is our universe? What is our universe? Which kind of stocks or which stocks do we need to consider? For that we have two types of universe here. First of all, the first universe that we will be looking forward to is stock investor. Go on to your stock investor tab and here go to decision support tools. Go to stock investor tab and go to decision support tools. Click on fundamental stock ideas. Okay, click on fundamental stock ideas. Now here, if you see, you will find the stocks, fundamentally good stocks. The fundamentals of the stock are being given by Sher Khan. Okay, now here if you see the status here, open. Okay, here you can see the status here, open. Now you will also have status like closed as well. Sorry, not this one. This not the status here, the call here. You have to see the call here. So you will find hold, buy, close, stuff like that you will find here. Okay, so buy means you can add on to your stock. Buy means you can add on to your stock. Hold means as of now just freeze buying. The fundamentals are not good. As of now just freeze your buying here. And you will also find exit or close as well. Okay, so as of now this is I can't see here exit or close, but you might find that as well. But As far as hold and buy is concerned, buy means you can add on to your existing holding. Hold means no more fresh buyings here as of now, till and until it converts to buy. So this is these are the stocks that you will be considering for your analysis. This is the first your first universe. Then there is one more universe that you will be checking out, which is go to sharekhan.com and enter into the website. Just log into the website sharekhan.com here. Every other stock is open here. Ram Narayananji, if you see every other stock, the status is open. Open means the trade is still open. They have not booked it. No. Okay. You don't have to see the status, Ram Narayananji. I said you have to see the call here. Okay, you have to see the call column here. Can you see the call column here? Everyone, can you see the call column here? I said go to stock investor tab. You will find a stock investor tab on your Trade Tiger. Okay, so go to stock investor tab and go to decision support tools, and in the decision support tools click on fundamental stock ideas. Okay, in the fundamental stock ideas you will find these entire ideas here. You have to see call column, not the status column. Status column will be open till and until they book the entire thing. Okay, it will remain open. So you have to see call column. Here you will have hold, buy written. So hold means you will not add on to your existing holding. No fresh buyings. Buy means you can add on to your existing holdings. So this is one type of universe. Then the other type of universe is you have to log in into your Sharekhan account. Okay, and after that you have to go to research here, then reports here. Okay, go to research, go to reports, and allow it to load, and then report type is viewpoint. Okay, select the report type as viewpoint. You can also have this as your universe here. Okay, so this is a huge list here. So you have two universe here. One is this. Log into your Sharekhan account, go to research. Under research, go to reports. Yes. Can you see the 4 tabs here? Today's call watch, equity, derivatives, and reports. Go to reports, and under reports, in the report type, select viewpoint. Okay. Select viewpoint, and the entire list will get loaded here. I don't think there is an option here to download it as an Excel file. Okay, I don't think there is an option here. Yes, these are Sharekhan recommendations. Okay, these are also Sharekhan recommendations on the fundamentals. Okay, what about the initiation price? The buy price, you can see it's here, it's already written here. So they have generated the call, they have generated the buy call, they have given you the time, everything, date, time, everything. So initiation date was 15th of May 2012, and they have initiated at 26 rupees, and they are still holding it. No, that's it, Vijayji. Okay, these recommendations for what time frame? So these are fundamental recommendations, Sahilji. This is from Sher Khan. Okay, these are fundamental recommendations. They doesn't have any time frame. We have combined fundamental plus the technical. They have their own strategy of analyzing the fundamentals. Okay, so these are two different things. Fundamentals are always more than a year, Sahilji. Fundamentals are by default always more than a year. Okay. How to determine exit using the universe? You will see here, close the call. Okay, hold, buy, close, you will find. So as and when they tell you to close, or there you can just exit your investment. Okay. So now the next topic is that only, fundamental sell here. Sher Khan stock ideas and viewpoint. So if the stock is selected on Sher Khan fundamental buy recommendation, if the stock is selected on Sher Khan fundamental buy recommendation, then one should exit on fundamental sell recommendation. Okay, so you should exit on fundamental sell recommendation. So you will find close option there, and you need to exit your investments there. Yes, Ram Narayananji. Yes, it will show sell. Amitji, it will show sell. Okay, so that's the fundamental sell. So if the fundamental of the stock goes for a toss, and for you as well, it's not just for the for Sher Khan thing. As a trader, as an investor, if you find something fishy, or I have also told you yesterday when I was teaching you caveats, that if a caveat is triggered, quickly check the fundamentals of the company. Okay, if you find something fishy, you can book 50% or maybe 100% of the profits there. So fundamental sell recommendation is given when the company looks fundamentally weak. Hence, one should exit immediately. Okay, that's why the fundamental sell here. And the last but not the least is, so this is some of the examples here of fundamental exit. So exit on fundamental sell at 687, Canfin Home Finance, then Persistent System. Exit on fundamental sell at 820. Then the last is your Bollinger Band exit. What is the Bollinger Band exit? It's nothing but the caveats. If any of the caveat is getting triggered, ideally you should be exiting the stock. Okay, exit based on quarterly chart, exit based on caveats. Completed the caveats, I've completed the exits, I've completed almost all the things here. Vijayji, just get in touch with your mentor. Okay. Yeah, so see here, these are some of the examples here. So as soon as the caveat has got triggered, you should exit, because once the caveat is getting triggered, now you need to understand the prices are moving up, 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 and suddenly, and suddenly the prices starts crashing down. There might be some issue, isn't it? So that's that. So not only now the smarter idea. I'll tell you the smarter idea. Smarter idea is not only to believe the caveats, okay, not only to believe the caveats, because it might happen that the caveat got triggered, just the same example that has happened with HUL. Okay, the caveat did got trigger, but the company, did not come down. They went up and up and up, right? So what you can do is, if the caveat is getting triggered, you still have time in your hand to exit your position. Okay, so quickly you should go and check the fundamentals of the company. Okay, quickly you should go and check the fundamentals of the company. If you find something fishy in the fundamentals, you should be exiting. That's a smarter idea. So from day one, I'm telling you, I mean, the more you can improvise in this strategy, the better off you will be with this strategy. Okay, am I clear here, everyone? So these are various examples here, as in when the caveat got triggered, uh, either caveat number one or the caveat number two, exhaustion candle. So accordingly, you can just exit the stock. Okay, so these are some of the examples. So we have seen average true range today. We have seen the exit strategies of initial stop loss, exit on fundamental sell, Bollinger Band method. So we have seen all this today. Yes. Any questions here that possibly I could have missed because of the chats? I might have missed some of the questions. So if I have missed some question, you can just place it one more time. I'll answer that.